Hello, everybody. This is Boxing Bros UK. I am here, the boss, Chris. This is my co-host, Andrew the Boxing Brain, and we've got a special guest on today, Carl from Last Spell Boxing.
Yes.
He showed us everything there is to know about this YouTube boxing game, and the first time he was guest on someone else's channel, it was his channel. And this is the first time we're having a guest on our channel. It's only fitting that.
Thank you very much for the invite.
Good intro.
Topic of the day is what the fuck happened?
Only one place to start, boys. Oh dear.
Take it away, Andrew.
Oh, I know. I've tried to structure some questions and the rest of it. I mean, we could be here till 10 o'clock and none of us have got that amount of time. So we'll see how this goes. But yeah, another shout out to Last Spell Boxing. Get over to Cole's channel and like and sub and all that. So yeah. I'm just going to get straight. I'm going to come to you, Cole, straight away as you're our esteemed guest today. I'm going to get straight to it with a juicy question because people probably only watch the first 20 minutes of videos anyway. A lot of people online are sort of saying, oh, they smell a rat, it's a bit fishy, was it a fix? And I know that gets bound around boxing a lot. Do you think this remotely smelt of a fix, or what's your take on it?
No, I don't think it was a fix. I think it was an overzealous referee jumping in. You did say off camera that Foster's got history of it, although I think the Crotch Groves was a good stoppage. I've said it before online. I think Foster saved Groves' career that night because Crotch was a different fight to Whittaker, right? Much more spiteful and could potentially have really done him some damage that night. However, back on to Whittaker. I thought it was early. I don't think it's a fix. I think it was an early stoppage. Cameron had his gloves up. Cameron's quite ring savvy, knows his way around the ring. So I would have let it gone a little bit. No, not a fix for me, Andrew, not a fix.
Fair enough. I think this is definitely, it seems to be split from what I've seen, or a lot of people say, I suppose you get a lot of comments, don't you? People just want to jump on the bandwagon. It always seems to be a go-to. But Chris, I know you were very emotional. I mean, we're quite emotional guys anyway. But if I was in that room watching Chris, I reckon he would have slipped me a right hook. He was that enraged. And now you've had a day to calm down because I know you were like, it's a fix. You weren't having it. Have you changed your mind or?
It's like for me. It just seemed like. Let's say not a fix, but everything was influenced for Ben Whittaker in Ben Whittaker's favour. The commentary, the
A side, yeah.
To start with that, like at the start of the fight, Cameron landed 2 stiff jabs, before Whittaker landed anything, and no one said nothing about it. And then as soon as Whittaker started landing, it was like, oh my god, wow. And I just thought, and in boxing, if the ropes hold you up, it's a standing count because you should have been gone down if it weren't for the ropes. And the rope held him up. So then the referee should have jumped in straight away and said, right, knock down, give a standing count. Yeah, that's my thing. Where maybe not a fix, just Howard Foster. I just think he's a shit referee, always making dodgy decisions all the time. He's just a little bit like.
Let me play devil's advocate with you, Chris. So let me play devil's advocate with you a little bit.
All right.
So, why didn't Cameron jump up and down like Tete did when the stoppage was called? You see.
Well, this is
fair comment. It's a fair comment. He was hurt worse. Tete was hurt worse, Chris.
I think because he probably thought everything's against him. The commentary, everyone wants to win, and he probably thought, "What's the fucking point?" He just
what
about Elijah Grant Smith and people like that, Chris? Why were they not jumping on the rope and playing havoc after the final bell or after the last bell?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really answer that, but I just think that's what he should have got. He should have got a standing 10 count and let it go on. For me, obviously, and that's the boxing rules. We've seen it again with Fury and Usyk. The ropes held him up.
Mm.
He could have got on his arse, standing. That's the rules. And Howard Foster just made another mistake, like usual.
I think what was interesting, boys, as well, is that I don't quote me on this. I think there was about 7 seconds left or so of the round. Standing 8 count would have given him would have taken it to the end of the round and given him that second win. Liam Cameron's never been stopped, never been hurt like that. He got caught flush. He was a little bit, what he was trying to do, I said to Chris Cole, he tried to sort of catch the shot, lean out the way and counter with a left hook at the same time, got caught flush on the chin, timed, got buzzed. But after what he's been through, tough man. Fuck it, like Howard Foster's an experienced ref, one of the most experienced ref out there. Give him the standard 8 count, give him the round, the ice patch, the water to look. For me, it was an absolutely terrible stoppage.
Yeah. I think it should have gone on. However, remember, Liam Cameron did operate at lower weights for the majority of his career. So he's getting fit by bigger men.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Middleweight, when he campaigned a lot at. Yeah.
And Ben Whittaker did go on record as saying Cameron said to him after the fight he'd never been hit like that before. Because obviously Andy Lee's a rival gym, right? He's gonna tell Whittaker to plant his feet and tee up a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we're reading too much into it, because I don't know if we're going to get the footage now, Carl, but because obviously Chris has normally got it on his laptop. But there's a post-fight interview from, I don't know if you saw it, with Box Nation, and he's very like, oh, do you know what? It is what it is. I can pay for my house there. It's almost like, where's that? I thought he's got that warrior spirit. It almost kind of like now he's dejected, and now there's comments going around, was maybe Liam Cameron paid off. It's like, maybe he just got badly hurt and thought, do you know what? I didn't fancy any of that. Like you say, Ben Whittaker's 6'3". Yeah.
Andrew, I reckon that he realised that there was clearly levels between him and Whittaker. So, like you said, he's able to buy his house. Will it look a decent loss in years to come? How far is Whittaker going to go? If Whittaker goes on to dominate the division, all of a sudden that don't look like a bad loss. Yeah.
Well, that leads me into another question, actually, sort of off the cuff, because obviously, Beterbiev's coming to obviously the end of his career. Obviously, he got that whole Bivol thing with Benavidez and having to vacate the belt. But once they kind of go, Ben Whittaker's the kind of future. Well, I'll start with you, Carl. Where do you think? I mean, let's say this. Benavidez is sort of the same age. Callum Smith is obviously, he's going to retire, I'd imagine, fairly soon, next few years. Where do you do you think he could win a world title? Where do you think he's at?
Not yet, he can't win a world title. He's got a lot of learning to do before he even starts looking at those sort of people. He's got Andy Lee in his corner now, right? And Andy Lee ain't going to rush him, because if you're jumping from, with all due respect to Liam Cameron, I do mean this with all due respect, to jump on the likes of Liam Cameron to even start talking about Callum Smith, etc., that's some golfing class here. Once you're at that level, there's no coming back. So I think they need to plot his career. What I would say is, I would expect him to be a DAZN fighter within the next 12 months. You heard it here first. I think
interesting. Chris, what do you sort of same question? Where do you kind of see him?
I've got to agree with Carl. I think he's got a lot of learning to do, definitely. But obviously, we don't really like the guy, just how he is. But I've got to be objective.
What?
He was adapting the Kronk style, stepping into his jab instead of flicking it out, trying to plant his feet, and obviously you can see the difference from working with Andy Lee to whatever he was doing before. I just think but the only problem is he's 27. So I know he's young, but he's not that young.
Ain't done 12 rounds yet. 12 rounds yet, boys, is he?
He can't move.
We won't go into that hole.
I mean, if you want to test for him next, how about taking the loser of Yard Arthur?
Yeah.
too soon. I think the will pagger him. I do.
So what names you throwing him in with then, Chris?
I would probably say Craig Richards.
Danny Dees, that sort of level, domestic. I'll tell you what would be a good
level below than that.
I'll tell you what would be a good promotion. I think maybe not ready for this, but I could imagine the promo kicking off for this. Willie Hutchinson, that would be an interesting bit of back and forth, wouldn't it?
I think he can beat Willie Hutchinson right now. I do. Like if he applies himself, count with Andy Lee. But it'd be a 50-50 fight as well in the end.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That will be a good fight for him, definitely.
I'd like to go and see him fight an Eastern European who's tough as hell and is going to give him some rounds. There must be that, right? Because he needs rounds, don't there?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So my next question, you mentioned in Andy Lee, like you seem to get this with trainers, don't you? Like at one point, Sugar Hill was the best thing since sliced bread, but it was Ben Davison. Then it's like, Dubois absolutely splattered AJ everywhere. There's that old baby Ben Davison's not as good. Derek James, trainer of the year, and then they sort of seem to fall off a cliff. Now Andy Lee obviously he's got Joseph Parker. I think he teamed up with Shiraz now as well, who's going to be fighting Belanga. What? And this seems to be a match made in heaven. I mean, I know we only saw sort of 2 rounds of it, but he did look good, didn't he? That first round, he looked really sharp. So maybe that's the sort of he needed that father figure. He sort of refers to it as a father figure. But do you think that's that partnership's going to take him from strength to strength? Obvious question, really. But
well, he's gone to Ireland, hasn't he? So he's invested.
Yeah.
He's gone to Ireland, come away from the bright lights, calm down his social media. So he's making all the right noises. I want to see him get a gut check and a heart check, though. Let's see what happens when he's under fire a little bit, and does he revert to type? Is that
I agree.
Is it the end of the show voting? I think it might be under Andy Lee. But if Andy Lee's one of the best in the game, in my view, goes under the radar, just gets on with the job, don't he? And I did like the way when he went over and whatever he said to Grant Smith after the fight, Andy Lee that's one time, pulled him back and just explained that's not the way you carry on. So he can only be a good influence on the.
Yeah, for sure.
Good answer. Chris, anything to add to that, or are you in complete agreement?
Yeah, I do think the Kronk style suits him, and Andy Lee, like with trainer things, like people, I hate it when people. It's not the trainer, it's the fighter. At the end, of the day,
I was a bit of tongue in cheek there. I wanted to set it up a bit.
Like Andy Lee, I think he's a great trainer. He's a really good trainer.
He's a good fighter.
Yeah. And the Kronk style, like that's one of my favourite styles. If you think Lennox Jones, all them guys, who did the Kronk style, it's the best style.
Yeah, so you can destroy. I love it. Yeah.
You could definitely.
The jab's like the best style for me to watch, and so and if you're fast, it suits you better. If you've got fast hands and you get the timing right, Kronk style's the one.
I did want to come in with something, and Carl touched on this a little bit. We do, because there are still going to be some chinks in his armour, and I was kind of, once I kind of watched it back, once the shock and the emotion went out of it, he did get a bit emotional with the finish there, because once he had, it reminded me a bit of AJ Dubois, when he kind of launched in with that uppercut, and Dubois slipped it and just stuck a right hook at him. Once he had Cameron there, he was just slapping around. It was a bit emotional for me. And he went galloping in with his chin up in the air. It was a bit wild for me. I would have wanted to see a bit more precision there. Perhaps I'm asking a bit too late. He needs more time. But like Carl was saying, if there's someone in there more seasoned who can properly bang, I mean, Liam Cameron can punch a little bit. I'd say he can't go galloping in there, can he, with his chin up in the air if the other guy's still got a bit left and catches him, can he?
No. And he's not a devastating puncher. I know he did what he did last night, but I'd argue he's not a devastating puncher. Punches.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting because the light heavyweight divisions, let's be honest, the upper echelons are a lot heavyweight. You got to go in. You know, you got to know your mustard. It must be a game plan. You can't just go in windmilling.
Yeah.
I do think it is check, like, because if we think let's go back to the first Liam Cameron one, like he was getting a little bit of a gut check there, and for me, I didn't think he quit in that fight. Like I don't think that he thought, you know what, it's not going the best way. Fuck this one off. So we need to see him in that situation again and finish the fight for sure.
Yeah,
and especially he can't. That's why I don't think he's ready for the Yard fight. Because if he hurts Yard and starts running over, windmilling, and Yard has got power, it will knock him out.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, maybe.
That version of Ben Whittaker inside is gone though, Chris. I think he's gone. Andy Lee will not let that version of Whittaker see the light of day again. I think he's better. How good he can be, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Can worry about his power, and that sounds stupid seeing what he done last night, but I'm still not convinced if a world class fighter is putting it on him, whether he's got enough power to keep him off. That'd be my own remark.
I think me and Chris, you said something to me earlier on the phone, and I remember something Teddy Atlas said. You know, punchers are born; they're not made, and I think there's a fair amount. You can work with your strength and conditioning trainers and get more kind of spring from your hips and plant your feet, timing, accuracy, and time. And we saw a bit of that, but. You know, you look at someone like Bacoli and Beterbiev off that. I mean, George Foreman back in the day. Fucking hell, most of them are arm punches, and like Canelo, when Canelo hits you on the arm, it seems to hurt people. You know, and Ben Whittaker's not. Let's be real, people. I saw some comments saying, "Oh, Ben Whittaker's now become a puncher." What they become a puncher? You don't just become a puncher.
It's like when Fury went with Sugar Hill. He just punch harder.
Yeah.
Techniques or for the power punches and stepping into the shots. He didn't make him a punch, he made him a better puncher. He worked.
Yeah.
Wilder still, even though he was a shit boxer, he still, before obviously Fury took his soul, that right hand, that was it. You know what I mean?
Remember, Bivol, people say Bivol ain't the puncher, but look what he does in the ring.
Exactly.
So, I'm trying to convince myself, but Bivol, not saying he's anywhere near Bivol, don't get me wrong, but there's other ways to skin a cat, right?
Other ways, sure.
Yeah, that's a fair point, isn't it? And I think, but like you boys have been saying, I think Ben Whittaker just needs that little bit more time. I mean, you know, just imagine a few more camps of Andy Lee, and that's the thing I was going to say, but. And just get your boys to kind of comment off of it. I know I've again seen a lot out there that Ben Whittaker's stock does seem to have kind of declined. Can't take anything away. He did what he needed to do, boys, didn't he? You know, he performed well. He can't control kind of what's going on. You know, all this stuff after was a little bit classist. I saw him; he was a bit emotional in the press conference. I guess my question is. He's not really done himself too many favours, has he, in terms of his image? And I'm not necessarily sure if he likes playing that pantomime villain role. I think he wants to be liked. That's my opinion. I just wanted to get your boys' reaction to that because he seems to struggle with it.
Was it Floyd Mayweather who said it doesn't matter if they're booing or cheering you? What's worse is if they're not doing either? You know,
ignored. Yeah.
So I think he hasn't helped himself though, has he, by the way he's launched his pro career. So I wasn't surprised when he was booed walking into the ring because he's a bit isn't he? Let's be honest.
He's not.
But do you like? What do you, Cole? Are you a fan of Whittaker? In general, where's your where do you kind of sit with him? Me and Chris are not. We recognise him as a big talent, but I've got to be honest, just personally, obviously I don't know him personally, I struggle. I don't like the way he comes across, and I didn't like the way he was showboating against, area title people, and I'm not a massive fan, and I think I've made that quite clear. Where do you sit?
I don't like him doing it against average opponents who he clearly got. He fought better opponents in the amateurs or in sparring than he was fighting in them days.
Yeah.
He's right. His forte is when the guy's been working on a building site all week, then jumped in the ring with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for it. Don't get me wrong, you've got to have some showbiz because a lot of fighters have got all the talent in the world, but you can't sell a ticket because there's no personality. So there is a line.
Boots Ennis. Anyone know who he is?
Yeah, real life. So there's got to be something. It is a showbiz business, Andy, isn't it? So you've got to have it, but you've got to have. There's a line in there. There's a line.
Yeah. Chris, what I know you're not the biggest fan, are you?
Biggest fan, but I think for me, like what you said, I think he loves it. I think he loves playing the villain.
Do you reckon? Interesting.
When people are hating him, I think that he's really embracing it, and you can tell that he's doing that. But he's taking it. I think he's loving it a little bit too much with his antics afterwards. Like all the villains that we know, Mayweather, even Ali was a villain at times.
Chris Eubank.
Yeah. After the fight, he showed humbleness straight after, and he's got to learn that. But I think Andy Lee will teach him that and say, look, do whatever you want before to sell the fight. Make everyone hate you, boo you, but then afterwards, you got to be humble. You got to show respect.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He's lucky that Lynn Cameron's trainer didn't fucking chill him. To be honest,
he tried slapping him. He missed. He didn't time it very well.
oh, Darrell's. It could have been one of them situations all over.
I've got a bit of inside information here, actually. Carl might know this, actually, but I saw a little snippet. Apparently, all this, the weigh-in when Ben Whittaker came in late to the weigh-in, and then there was all this, is he struck? Apparently, that was an Andy Lee strategy. He said, let's come in late and just get people. I think that tells you everything you need to know about Andy Lee as his experience and as a bit of a kind of tactician, Carl, doesn't it?
Yeah,
just coy.
Grant Smith and all Lee Cameron's camp were giving Whittaker grief all week by going in wheelchairs and everything like that. Well, we don't see any of that, do we?
No.
So I think he gave as good as he got, Andrew, a little bit. So that's why I think there's more of emotion. I think he almost says, I don't want to swear, but I think he almost says F you. So that's what that was. There's a roar of emotion where he just says, I beat the guy. You don't fight down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I saw that a bit of a narrative out there that he all going around that he spat on Grant Smith. I think it looked to me like he just kind of roared. Oh, hello! Look, we've got someone in on the act here. Look,
shadow boxing that was, wasn't it?
Beautiful. Yeah, I think it was just an explode. I think it shows his immaturity a little bit, and I think this is why Andy Lee's the perfect matchup because I think he will kind of make a man of him. He is a little bit got caught up in all the showboating and the Instagram following, and I think he's almost played up to that role. But I think that was a little bit unsavoury looking through the ropes, and I think as he shouted, maybe a bit of spit's come out. I don't think he's intentionally tried to spit over him.
Let's be honest though, Andrew, people who don't like him will be tuning in to see him get knocked out.
Yeah. Well, you've just brought me onto another question. I've got even more questions off the top of your head now. It's almost like the Jake Paul thing. It's like now people can't stand him generally. Anyone you talk to can't stand him, but they're almost kind of tuning in to see him just be folded up on the canvas. And I kind of get that feeling with Ben Whittaker. And I have to be honest, if I'm honest, I kind of want to see that myself. I know that might sound wrong, but I kind of want to see. I do want to see that gut check. I want to see him get on the canvas and then get up and win because I'll actually then respect him more. I'll actually go, fucking hell, he's not just a fancy Olympian boxer. He's actually got a bit of a dog in him and a fighter in him. We don't know if he's got that yet, though, boys, do we?
Not yet, and we need to see it for sure. Are we?
No worries. Cheers, then, boys. Take care.
Yeah, take care, Carl. Cheers, mate.
Be good. Stay lucky.